In today's episode, The Life Altering Power of a Stress Detox, I'm peeling back the layers of a personal challenge that I recently was faced with. After a whirlwind season of holidays and parties and running my businesses and dealing with an inner ear infection, I reached a breaking point. I was having panic attacks again, and I was very stressed out. About 3 weeks ago, I decided to go on a stress detox, and the changes in that short period of time have been absolutely amazing. That's what I wanted to share today. The changes that I've seen in the last 3 weeks have been just remarkable by doing this stress detox. The 5 tips I'm going to share today are completely free. They don't cost anything to do except investing a little bit of time. In the last 3 weeks, I have lost weight. I have gained back free time for hobbies and activities. I've completely reduced my stress at work, and I'm well on my way to regaining work life balance, which is so important. If you're curious how reducing stress can rejuvenate your work life balance and bring you joy and happiness into your life, you won't want to miss this episode. Hello and welcome. Danette here. Thank you for joining me on the Shine First Today podcast. Before we get started, I just wanted to mention that our Thriving in the Fast Lane, this is a 90-day undated planner, is on available on Amazon. And what it helps you do is align your overall strategic goals and helps you break it down into monthly goals, weekly goals, and then daily goals. And I have been having just a great time using it. You can see I have everything filled out and for this week and all the things I want to work on. And it's just so much fun to use. I will put a link to it in the description below, and you can search for it on Amazon by typing in Thriving in the Fast Lane. Last year was a little bit of a challenge for me. I launched my second business, Shine First, and earlier in the year, I gave a speech to a group of women financial advisors, and I shared with them how bad my panic attacks had got. In the process of writing the speech, rehearsing the speech, preparing to actually give the speech, I remembered all of the stress that I had been under previously. And I brought that back into my system. And I started having panic attacks again. And I was working a really unhealthy amount of hours during the last, say, 6 months of the year. I came back from the conference. I had an inner ear infection. I had to go to urgent care. The doctors couldn't quite figure out what's going on there. It was just kind of a crazy busy time leading up to the holidays, which created a lot of extra stress and tension. About 3 weeks ago, I said, I've had enough. I am going to do something called a stress detox. I am going to identify everything that's going on, everything that's causing me stress, and eliminate it. And in the past 3 weeks since I've done that, I have lost 9 pounds. I have been more productive at work. I've had way more time for hobbies and fun things to do. I've been knitting again. I knit baby socks for my new grandson that's on his way. And I knit a couple of hats for my husband, and he was very happy to get those. I've been able to sleep well at night, and doing this conscientious stress detox has just been amazing. And I thought it was really important to share it with all of you. At the end of last year, on New Year's Eve, actually, my granddaughter came over. When she said goodbye to me, she said, I will always remember you. And it was kind of a weird thing to say. I said, Isabel, I'm not going anywhere. And she goes, yeah, I know, I know. And I didn't think about it much at the time. And she left. And a few days later, I started doing this stress detox. And I do feel like I'm a completely different person today than I was. I feel completely different compared to how I was feeling such a short time ago. I am so hyper aware of feeling stress. And to give you a quick example, this morning as I was getting ready to film, I started feeling stress. And I said, "Oh, okay. I have not felt that feeling in the whole month of January. Now I'm really aware of it." And I was like, "Okay, I'm nervous because I'm getting ready to film," which is natural, right? And it's like, everything's going to be okay. And I calmed myself down and I just sat and waited until I felt centered and grounded again. Instead of just continuing to move through my activities, I wanted to talk about the 5 things that I did to do this stress detox. The very first thing I did is I started doing morning meditations. For the first week, I actually said, anytime I feel any stress whatsoever, I'm going to go lay down or sit down and meditate. I listened to Dr. Joe Dispenza's morning meditation. I will put a link to that in the description. Sometimes I meditated 3 or 4 times a day. I dedicated this one week to intensive meditation. By the end of that first week, I felt way better. And I've been continuing on every morning with the morning meditation. I was really conscious of the fact that I am going to prioritize taking care of myself first. There's nothing else that I need to do in my life besides taking care of me. And I'm going to be fully dedicated to doing that for 2024 and beyond. The second thing I did was I capped my work hours. I said, I'm going to work from this time in the morning until this time in the afternoon. I'm going to take a 1 hour break for lunch. And that's it. Whatever I can get done in those work hours, in that window, I'm going to do. And this is the important part. I'm not going to think about work outside of those hours. Most of my career, I've been a business owner. And as a business owner, I've always thought about my work at all times of the day. I've always felt like that's the difference between having a job and owning a business, is that it's something that's always on your mind. And I was spending an unhealthy amount of time thinking about work in off hours. And I think working from home, which a lot of us are doing now post COVID, hasn't helped this separation between work and home. So it was very easy for me to have my laptop open on the dining room table while I'm eating and checking emails and things like that. And the lines between work and home have been completely obliterated in my life, especially at the end of last year. It's something that you can do consciously. If I find myself thinking about work when I'm outside of those hours, I stop myself and I don't judge and I say, okay, wait, you can get back to that tomorrow. Now's not the time. And then I just try to start thinking about something else and get up and walk around and just take a deep breath and go forward. The third thing I did is I made my mealtime sacred. I can't tell you in the last year how many times I have been eating while working. I'll bring my lunch down to my computer. I will have YouTube videos going on while I'm eating dinner at night or doing other things while I'm eating. And one of the things I did starting that first week is I said mealtime is sacred. If I'm eating food, I'm going to sit and think about the food that I'm eating. I'm going to appreciate the food that I'm eating. I'm going to give love to the plant or animal that provided the food for me to eat. And I'm going to connect with my food at a deeper level and not have any other distractions, especially work, but also the TV, also the cell phone. Everything is off the table, and it has made a tremendous difference. Not only have I lost 9 pounds since the beginning of the year, I haven't been hungry. I haven't skipped a meal. I haven't dieted in any way. I'm just really conscious of appreciating everything I'm eating, and I'm not doing anything else while I'm eating except eating. Number four is that I'm very conscious of the thoughts that I'm thinking about myself, about other people. I'm trying to have the thoughts be positive, and I'm trying to be really conscious of if I am feeling stress. Like I said this morning when I was getting ready to film, I haven't filmed in a while. I actually skipped 2 weeks of doing episodes because I was so focused on getting myself back into alignment. I'm really conscious of what am I thinking. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm doing a simple I am chakra meditation instead of thinking about the things that are going on in work that day. Instead of thinking about maybe something I didn't get done that I wanted to get done. When I'm at work, I'm now really focused on I have this window, I have to be done by this time, and so I'm really focused and not distracted. I'm actually way more productive while I'm working, and then I'm way more enjoying my life when I'm not. The fifth thing I did, which I think is maybe the heart of why this has worked so well, I call this releasing guilt. I almost called this a release guilt detox because I tend to feel guilty all the time. I feel guilty if I eat all the food on my plate. I'll feel guilty because I'm overweight and so I shouldn't be eating that much. Also, if I leave food on my plate, I feel guilty because there are people starving in other parts of the world, but also even in our own country. And how could I be wasteful? If I'm working, I feel like I should be doing something for my granddaughter or my husband and my family. And when I'm with my family, I think about work. So I noticed early on in during this week of stress detox that I personally was feeling guilt about all the things that I wasn't doing that's taking me out of the present moment. Anytime I feel guilt, like I didn't even realize how often during the day that I was feeling it. And it takes you out of the present moment. Whatever you're doing in the present moment is okay. And it is what you should be doing. And there is nothing to feel guilty about. We don't have to worry about meeting anyone else's expectations, only our own. And so just having that conscious awareness of, oh, I'm feeling guilt right now. I see why that's causing me stress. And no, I don't need to feel that. And just being in charge of my own thoughts, it has been amazing. So I hope those tips have been helpful. I hope that you got some value from this. If you have any questions about anything I talked about today, please leave it in the comments below. I would love to talk to you and see how are you guys dealing with stress this year and how has it changed since we're coming out of COVID. Thank you so much for being with me today. I hope the rest of your day is amazing, and I will see you in the next episode.